No, the question is tearing down a building that could possibly be nothing wrong with it for use as a storage shed or whatever.
Yes, sir.
I don't think, I don't think the nuisance law gives us the authority to tear down a building because somebody's living in it, and they're
Yes,
not
sir.
supposed to. I mean, that's my question. I know it puts a lot of pressure on our attorney who's just sitting in when our other attorney has, covered this hundreds and hundreds of times for a lot. Dealing.
I think you're correct on that one. I mean, what you have here is an individual with some mental issues and some substance abuse issues that is creating a public nuisance. But the building itself is not a dwelling. It's not built to be lived in. There's no bathroom. There's no running water to the building. And I don't think you could tear the building down if it qualifies as a storage building. I know you'd like to eliminate the problem with him living there, but I don't think you can do it by demolishing the building.
And that's my concern is our nuisance law is not very wide. It's kind of narrow to give us the authority to do certain things, and most of the time it deals with buildings that are supposed to be used for inhabitants, and they're not. They've got trees growing in, the windows knocked out, and then we tear them down. But this wasn't even built for anybody to live in. It was just, I understand it's built as a shed that you could store a boat or a car or anything in. So that's our dilemma. And I want to do what y'all recommend, but I don't want to put us in a legal bind by doing something we don't have the authority to do.
Madam Chairman, essentially, in fact, he got a point. We might have to go through legislature to get the law changed, but right now, we got our hand tied concerning that.
I mean, I don't have any problem if the building's falling down and the building itself is a danger. So if a child was to go in there, nobody living there, and they could be injured by the building falling down on them, then that's a nuisance. But we need to give the property owner time, 30 days, to correct the problems with the building, not to bring it up to code so somebody can live in there, because they can't do that.
Right.
You cannot bring it up to code without tearing it down and building a house. But I don't have any problem giving them 30 days if it's been declared, you said it's been condemned. Well, they had to have some reason to condemn it. And if the structure is not sound, then they need to have the opportunity to correct it before we tear it down.
Madam Chair, first I need to ask, is there a motion on the floor?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, he asked was there any questions to him before
Okay.
we talked about it.
I move that we accept Mr. Lee's recommendation of giving the landowners 30 days to improve and take care of the business that we have requested to be taken care of, and then we'll go from there.
Madam Chair, I got to correct, that wasn't what Mr. Leeds asked, because I specifically asked him, and he said they were asking that it be demolished in 30, it be demolished by the owner, or we would demolish it. I'm saying that we need to allow them to, if the building's unsafe for just being a building, allow them to repair it, and then after 30 days, if it's not repaired, then we can demolish it.
Well, Mr. Lee, for my clarification, repeat what you said there about the 30 days, because I didn't hear it the way Commissioner Lee did.
On the 13th of September, as I said, this commission, by resolution, declared the condition of the property located at 6 Irwin Drive to be a public nuisance. And again, the public hearing was held this morning. And then at this time, I was requesting from the county commission, by resolution, declare the property a public nuisance and order the abatement of the nuisance by the removal of the nuisance. Having said that, I also further stated that we would give Ms. Dorothy Hurst an additional 30 days to have everything, including vehicles and building, removed from the parcel.
That's what I knew, and you're saying to have the
That's
building
That's
removed.
what I heard. You requested that we give an additional 30 days to have the building, that's what I heard?
Removed
Removed.
by the property owner.
Okay.
They're not going to remove the building. I mean, if that's, I know they're not going to do that, so we might as well go ahead and approve that we do it.
So you don't have a second, so this is gonna die, I
Right, this
guess.
is gonna die, but
So I want to make one comment. We've heard from both sides, and I feel for the gentleman that sat up here and spoke. I've lived by people before that I felt was bringing my property values down and were really a nuisance to, you know, the area I was living in. I've felt that before. I think this guy needs help, for sure, needs mental help. I'd like to give the chief a little time to look into this. I'd like to give the probate judge time to see what else we can do with this. Because it's not really about the property, it's about the gentleman. I mean, that's exactly what the issue has been. You know, I think the lady that came up here and spoke earlier would love for him not to be living in the building and turn it into a storage building. So if that's their desire, then let's fix the human issue, the human factor in it, and then they could turn it back to a storage building, and then we're not taking their structure down.
But still, all that mess around it, they need to clean that up now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the old junk cars and trash and piled up and all that
So
stuff.
I'm not against, y'all done great work, Gary, and you're doing exactly what we've asked you to do, is to
Bring it to us.
you and Bill, to address concerns of our citizens in the county. So I think you've done a great job for that, and you're bringing back what you think is right to do. I'm sitting up here as an elected official saying, I got a guy that needs mental help, and I can't see, when we do this, he's gonna be living in the trees or in the grass or something, and I think we need to step back, try to let the chief do what he could do through the court system and the probate judge, and maybe ask y'all just to bring this back to us, maybe in a couple of meetings, and we'll see if we can move forward then. If nothing's been done, the guy's still living in it, at some point, we do need to take some action to, if we can't help him, we're gonna have to help the situation, I think, so, that's my take on it.
Hey, Gary, excuse me, the gentleman, that you still wanna give him 30 days, I think that's what we.
Well,
we
I mean,
decide.
he suggested 30 days. The only thing I would change, and I think, has there been a motion?
No,
This is a dead issue.
it
Move on.
died because of
if you
lack
make
of
the motion, I
assessment and
second.
discussion.
Well, I mean, my motion then would be to allow the landowners 30 days to clean up the mess, not tear down the building.
Isn't that what I
And
said?
if the person involved has not been dealt with by then, I mean, he's not our responsibility. I wished he was, but it sounds like they're trying to do something about it, but I don't know what you do when you can't catch the guy. I mean, if you can't catch him, he must not be there causing a whole lot of trouble. 'Cause-
If they can't catch him, the chief ain't been out there yet.
well,
Right, Chief?
I mean, I know that we catch escaped prisoners in 20 minutes after they hit the woods, so why we can't find a mentally disturbed person who...
So I second that motion, Madam
Okay.
Chairman.
What motion was it? That's a
The
lot.
motion is to give them 30 days to correct the problem and then bring it back to us. Not necessarily to tear the building down yet. May end up having to do that. And so y'all's responsibility is to investigate these problems, bring us the facts, give you recommendations, bring it to us, and then we make the decision. So we're not going against what you recommend. In fact, I commend y'all for what you do. But it's up to us and our attorney to decide if we can legally do something. And so right now, it's a little bit in limbo whether we can tear that building down.
yes, sir.
Madam Chair, just one point of discussion, I'm gonna be quiet on this too. That's why we have public hearings. It's
Yeah.
exactly what happened today.
Yeah, we
heard
very
from both
seldom-
sides, and we never have that, right? And we actually heard from both sides, and we see there's an underlying issue that maybe can be addressed, and let's see if we can get that addressed first.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Hurst, I'll recognize Ms. Hurst.
Yes, I'll back the 30 days, but the only problem that I have is if they can get him and get him locked up, I can do something. But if within 30 days, if they can't get him, there's nothing I can do.
Well, what's keeping you from doing it?
Big pardon?
I mean, why can't you do something?
Okay.
I mean,
can't deal with Joe.
oh, no, but if you go out there to do something, undoubtedly he's there, all right, so you just bring the sheriff or somebody with you, and if he's there, then they caught him.
That's fine, I've been out there, but the thing about it is, when I go, I don't always find him either. And they had him one time, and Judge Harden hadn't signed the
Well, it looks like he,
order, so I don't know.
I know we're getting way out of bounds here on our record, because, I mean, the public hearing is over, and we've already heard both sides, and like we said, we've heard, and we understand. We understand it's a problem.
Something when he's not there, just like I had it cleaned up.
But so we need to get,
Reeds can tell you I had it cleaned
we need to get the law enforcement or DHR or somebody involved quickly and take care of this man and his problems and get him some help. I mean, I know we've got, sounds like he's a prime case for, treatment.
We're in the discussion that we voted.
He's schizoaffective bipolar type, and without his medication, he's not a normal
Okay.
person. And he needs to be locked up. He needs to get locked up and get the drugs out of him and get him to rehab, and then I can clean the land up again.
All right.
And I had it before, I don't mind doing it.
Thank you, Ms.
Call
Hurst.
the question.
We need to call the question.
Call the question, Madam Chair.
Thank you for speaking.
District 1 Lee?
Yes.
District 2 Currington? District 3 Martin?
Yes.
District 4 Reeves?
Yes.
District 5 Elk?
No, I know, but we can.
District 6 Corbin?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay. And Madam Administrator,
Yes, Madam Chair. This is the public announcement that the courthouse will be closed on October 9th for Columbus and American Indian Heritage Day. That also falls on a work session day, so we will just go into the regular meeting on that following Wednesday.
okay. And Mr. Lane, is there any, we have done here the lodging legislation, rather.
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Funderburk and I think the administrator had been in consultation. As you know, the hotel motel lodging tax beginning October 1 comes to the county commission instead of to the committee of the Chamber of Commerce. There was some question as to whether or not there might be some accountability to any remaining funds, and I think most everybody probably agrees there will be no remaining funds. But it might be interesting, or if the commission were interested, in trying to write to them, communicate with them, and see if they had any outstanding contracts, where they were spending the money, whether they thought it worked or not, so that we might not go down the same path. But that would be up to the commission on there just to learn. I mean, especially if they've got a contract with somebody that continues for 6 months, it's kind of foolish for the county to go pay them a duplicate amount for that same period of time. But, I mean, again, they can say, no, we don't have any legal authority to request that.
Okay, thank you. Your personnel items report, Ms. Robinson has had those placed in our packet. Are there any announcements? I hope you all voted yesterday.
Before we adjourn, I'm asking Miss Leanne and Vicky, hold around a minute. I got to meet you with something in here with
I do have
somebody.
one announcement.
I'm not getting on to you. I just need both of you, and it's easier to catch you here than it is somewhere else.
Madam Chair, I'm in receipt of a letter from the National Association of Counties confirming the nomination of Commissioner Epps to the Human Services and Education Policy Steering Committee. I just want to congratulate her on that and, say that she is representing our county well in that seat, so.
I don't see how she has time to go to all those meetings. I know she still cooks.
It is a commitment. And I do cook.
I know
I
you
do
do.
cook.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.
Happy to do it.
Thank you.